Well, good evening everyone, hope you're all doing well. This is just a quick chill stream to do some wrap up on some optional content. Not going to be anything too special or Larry in this one, but there is going to be some story stuff for Vincent, but the rest of it is just really going to be clean-up of things that we need to do before we go on to the next part of the plot. Because the next stream I'll be doing will be the Midgar raid, and that's going to be all the way through the rest of Deshou's content. So I'm actually going back to Rocket Town, even though I was just kind of there, because there's something I need to get here as part of this like long bit of cleanup that we're doing. First things first. Put Vincent and Sid in the party just for the moment. So we're back in Rocket Town after the actual rocket launch, so I guess it's just a town now, you know. But anyway, this gentleman we spoke to a couple of times before. Let's speak to him again. Yeah, it's definitely gone. So, the Venus Gospel is Sid's ultimate weapon. This is the point, like, I got Tifa's on the previous, like, go. On the previous stream, and this is the point where we start getting more of them. Sid's weapon actually has a special property where it does more damage if his MP is full. So it's quite powerful. It works similarly to some of the other ultimate weapons. But we're not going to give it to him because it has no materia growth in it, again. So that sucks, but hey, there you go. Alright. So the next thing we're going to do is do some submarine related stuff, but we're not actually going to go underwater just yet. Just casually sail over here. So what we're looking for is a river that leads into the actual continent itself. Because you can drive the submarine up the river, somehow. Reminds me of that scene from Uncharted 2, I think it was. Yeah, so that's the thing. We just need to find the actual inlet that will take us inland. It came from upriver. Yeah, if we submerge here, we might be able to follow it through, actually. Nope. Nope, guess not. Now that, there in the distance that you can see, we will be returning to in a little while. Alright, we'll surface for a moment. Just while I try and orient myself here, and also the camera angle's changed, which is rather annoying. We'll also be making a return to Costa del Sol at some point, but not quite yet, mind you. Because there's actually new items that you can buy at Costa del Sol at this point in the game, and also there's something that we still need to do as well. This is where we need to go. So yeah, there's not as much submarine content as I otherwise would have liked. I mean, there are optional areas and such you can go to it, but not many. I think one or two more would have been neat, but anyway. So yeah, this is the lake in the middle of the continent that we otherwise cannot access. So let's actually disembark here. Cabin behind the waterfall, eh? Always comes back to Nibelheim, doesn't it? Why might she be rubbing her belly, you wonder? Ah, so Sephiroth was not created in a test tube. He was not, you know, an ancient or anything like that we originally thought. He is just a regular person who, well, eventually over time was turned into the person he is now. And oh dear, so if you haven't already gathered, by the way, that guy there who is Lucrezia's, like, partner and also Sephiroth's father is the ugliest man alive, Hojo. What she was thinking is beyond me. But yeah, Vincent was the subject of those experiments by Hojo that turned him into who he is now. So yeah, Lucrezia herself has also been injected with Genova cells at some point. Well, that was a touching and not all awkward reunion, but we're not quite done with Lucrezia yet, but we will come back and see her later. At the end of this actual stream, as it turns out. Alright, so since we're in the proximity of that sunken airplane that we saw before, we might as well visit it while we're here. Although I'll need to surface and actually do some quick interior arranging and get some new party members in. Yeah, the submarine unfortunately moves really, really slowly. It's kind of irritating. But never mind. We can always proceed over this way anyway. There we are. Map back on, see where the hell I'm going. Annoyingly, you cannot actually get out of the submarine at Costa del Sol, which is a bit of a shame. That's fine. Just have to find that inlet again that's around here and use that instead. Because that's where the plane is actually, as it happens, so it's quite convenient. Alright. So for this little expedition, we're going to take along Tifa and Barrett. I just realised I'm going to need to swap some stuff out as well. I'll just give it that for now. Just a temporary measure until I can get the party in order here. Swapping gear around is a little bit more complicated than otherwise I'd like it to be. Alright. Move all that. Move all that. Arrange everything. And then let's do the wonderful task of filtering through all this garbage again. So, give Tifa comments. We'll give her... poison. Time. We might as well also get started on leveling up the actual, like, good materia. At least for this part of the game, anyway. Or you might know that you can see her health has plummeted like a stone as a result of attaching all this crap, so... give her the HP plus, the magic plus... give her this enemy skill materia... and... solves that for Tifa. Let's give Barrett some useful stuff. He can have barrier, gravity, ice, fire, lightning, heal, definitely need that. I'll give some summons as well while we're here. Yeah. And Phoenix as well. And the rest would just be random old shite, basically, at this point. Skill there, yeah. Okie dokie. Right. So that crash plane should not be too far... well, in fact, it's right there, as a matter of fact. So, let's see what happens when we go over here. So you might remember this plane as the one that was transporting the huge materia. It looks like it didn't quite make it back in the opposite direction. This place has some excellent, excellent loot, but it also has some of the stronger monsters in the game, which can be a problem. The Heaven's Cloud Sword, we may actually end up using that. Yeah, all of Cloud's materia there is actually not linked, so that's actually very convenient. Perfect. So there's a lot of good loot here. But the enemies are also very strong as well. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Yeah, you saw how much damage that did to Cloud there. These guys do not screw around. So they paralyze him. So yeah, we're in for a rough time fighting in here, as you can tell. But the rewards are worth it. I mean, look at all that money for a start, just from that one enemy. Right, we need to get on top of this ladder here, I think. Oh, that's annoying. I forgot he's means fire, silly me. So yeah, we're likely to burn through a lot of MP here. Ah. That materia is actually on the lower level, it's just been a mite awkward. And this is why I need those, to get all of this juicy, juicy AP. Ah, Tifa's got the ribbon on, so she's fine. There we go. There we go. So double cut. What does double cut do, you might wonder? Well, double cut is ridiculous because it means that you attack twice in a single turn. It's also purple for some reason on the field, but it's actually yellow in reality. So yeah, it's really, really good. Especially when you level up as well. So we've got everything one from there, we've got some temps left, might as well use those. Save up. Now because we actually got double cut, I'm going to swap out some stuff here very quickly just to further make Cloud a bit more ridiculous. So with double cut and added cut, we're now actually going to do 3 attacks in a single turn, which is kind of crazy. And all of those can critically hit as well, which is even better. Oh, but look who might be here! How on earth the Turks got down here is beyond me. Alright, let's go then. So what we actually want to do here firstly is start stealing. For that reason, because both of the characters again have actual items that we want to take from them. So until we do that, we don't really want to hurt them. And Cloud's already got them both, so we're good. Might as well get some work then. Is this overkill? I think it might be overkill. Don't know about you. It really does seem like overkill for these poor dudes. They've had a rough time, you know. Congratulations, you blew a hole in the ship and it's gonna now flood in and we're all gonna die! Oh man, Reno's just like, no, you're on your own, Rude. And now you're gonna get, like, burned to a cinder. So yeah, that's double coin action there. And Rude's like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. Bye. Very nice. And they just vanished into the ether, I guess. Okay. Fair enough then. Who am I to argue with that? Well, we've got one more tent left, so we might as well use that and start scouring the rest of the ship for stuff. So as for the swag we took from the Turks, one of which was the Zydrach, which we already got previously, that a really nice armour that unfortunately has no actual... Excuse me. That has no actual, like, slots on it for materia. But the other thing we got instead was the Tough Ring, which was actually the ring that Sephiroth had way back in the Khan flashback. It's a nice tanking ring, don't get me wrong. But you don't really need it, like, you really want to focus more on damage output, which is why I'm going to put the Curse Ring on instead. So anyway, let's go start grabbing stuff from here. That's really rude. So yeah, this actual place is like one of the best locations to start really, like, you know, grinding out levels if you need to do that. So the High Wind is Sid's final level limit break. The Outsider is a weapon, if I recall correctly, for Vincent. This red materia is Hades, which I'll be talking about in just a little bit. I think there was a bit of texture corruption there, you might have noted, with the slot thing. How weird. Yeah, that was a bit odd, I must say. Cloud's now got his next limit break, Finishing Touch, which instantly kills anything on screen that is vulnerable to death anyway. And this is Comet 2, which is multiple comets all at once. Spirit Lance. Okay, so there's some other kit here that we need to pick up. I'm going to very quickly check a guide on where that might actually be. You'll just excuse me a moment. Okay, there's one final thing in here that we need to pick up as well before we leave. We can always come back later if I miss it. But for the moment, we need to go back to the previous room that we were in when I got a little lost looking for materia there. There we go. So yeah, it's barely visible, but it's right there in the top left corner. And this guy's got a back attack on us, which is really mean. And that's the Conformer, which is Yuffie's ultimate weapon. So we've done pretty well out of this little salvage hall here from this sunken aircraft. Alright. Now we need to save, because we're not quite safe yet when we leave. Because you might recall the Emerald weapon wanders like the oceans around here. Apparently, from the guide I've read, there's a 1 in 8 chance that when you get outside of in the submarine, he's just there waiting for you. That's not the case this time, thankfully. But anyway. We made it out safely enough, so that's all good. Now I just need to head back over to the Highwind, and then we can move on to our next bit of optional content. Okay, so we're just going to quickly pop over to Costa del Sol. This is to rest up, get some items. Well, I'm also going to check. So Barrett's very close to actually getting a Master Ore material, which we're going to need to buy something in Costa del Sol. Is it an item? No, not really. But it's still one of the, if not the most expensive things that you can get in the entire game for that matter. So we'll get some tents. Alright. Just set the inn to rest up. That's not the inn. What am I talking about? That's not the inn either, damn it. Well, it doesn't matter. We can always use a tent on the world map. There we go. Okay, so other stuff that I can very quickly show off. So we've got the Bone Village here, but if we actually keep flying over these mountains a little bit, we can find a concealed location. Right here. I can't seem to land. How annoying. There we go. So who's this chap? I'm not sure what he is either. He looks like something out of Monsters Inc. to me. No, forget that. So the Chocobo Sage sells some of the best Chocobo breeding and catching items in the game. Although there are others that you can actually steal from others to actually get better effects. And we've got a 4th enemy skill material, which honestly seems completely redundant, but I think it's more there just in case you've missed one in the past. But anyway, we've got all that out of the way for the moment, so we're looking pretty good. The only other thing that we'll do really for the remainder of this stream, just to save, like, you know, going too far into the plot, is we'll go back to the submarine and we'll go pick up some things. And for this, I'm going to need to swap my party again. Back in the submarine. So the first place we're going to go is up actually towards the Bone Village area. Why are we going here, you might wonder? Well, I've been blessed with the ability to predict and see the future. And what does that mean for this game, you might say? Well, basically I know ahead of time that I'm going to need to collect an item from here that will be needed when we go to the City of the Ancients with Bugenhagen. And it's this specific thing here. I'm glad to see that our crew is still present. Alright, got ourselves the keys to the Ancients. So that'll just save us some busy work later. Alright, before we get ganked by Emerald Weapon, let's surface again, because we're actually going to now go back the way we came when we first visited Lucrezia, and go back and see her again, see if she's got anything to say. This is the point where I'll realise, by the way, that I've not fought enough battles, because the actual trigger to get Lucrezia to speak more to you at this point is to fight 10 battles. So if you've been keeping score at home, do feel free to tell me if I've got actually, you know, the right number at this point. Anyway, we've arrived. It is also possible to get to this place with a Chocobo, but you really, really don't need it. Oh. Botched that a little bit there. Let's try that again. There we go. In case you're wondering, no, you can't get random encounters on the grassland outside. So yeah, Lucrezia's gone. That's it. What she has left behind in her place is Vincent's ultimate weapon and his final limit break as well. So yeah, that's that unfortunately, she's gone. I'd like to see that expanded more upon the remake if the opportunity presents itself. I mean, I have no idea, for example, why she would go for Hojo whatsoever, because he's... I mean, he's butt fugly now, and I can't see how he wasn't butt fugly back then. Plus, he's like a mad fucking scientist who experimented on Sephiroth, like, in the womb or something, so... Made a bad judgment call there, methinks Lucrezia. Sorry. Alright, we'll surface here, just so that way we avoid Emerald Weapon, who's still stalking, you know, the underwater area. Let's make our way back to Junon, get to the High Wind, and we'll call it there for tonight's stream. Alright. Alright, that concludes the stream. I don't think anyone actually joined to watch this one, so I've really just been talking to myself, but never mind that. If you catch this on VOD later, hope you enjoy it, and we'll come back to actually do some actual plots, and go revisit Midgar again for the final time in the game. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.